Okay, do you know when you just get some kind of realisation about something and you realise that, what the fuck have I done? That moment was the other day. This is not a video for sympathy, and I'm not doing it for views or subscribers or anything like that. This is generally something which happened to me the other day, and I know I have to speak out about it. Because there's been times where I wanted to, but didn't see the need to because I thought I was past this. And just until the other goddamn day, and then I realised that no, I'm not past this, I'm far from past it, and I've just made things worse for myself. I'm going to tell you a story about my life and my struggles of being an epileptic. First off, let me clarify that this form of epilepsy I have is not the most common form, which I can't pronounce it, I'm just going to put it down here. That form of epilepsy is where you sort of collapse on the floor when you're having seizures and you shake. My epilepsy is petit mal, and petit mal epilepsy is basically you won't even know it's happening sometimes, and you'll sort of stare off into space for what could be a couple of minutes, and until someone sort of snaps you back into reality. Sometimes you can do it yourself. So my struggles with petit mal epilepsy, I was diagnosed at 5 years old. And my earliest memory of it was actually when I was in infant school. To a lot of people in the US, that's first school or kindergarten, I'm not sure how it works. But I remember being around a sandpit, me and a few other kids, and there was my mum was there, because I'm assuming it was this bit where the parents come in and help the kids. I think it was that anyway. And the next thing I remember is suddenly my mum clicking the fingers in front of my face. Jim. Jim. And then I snap back into reality. But it's not like you're zoning into your own little world where you're just daydreaming. It's slightly different. To me, I'm not sure if it's like this with any other people who have epilepsy, but it was sort of like I was staring at one spot in the room. Everything was blurry except for this spot I was looking at, and you have no memory of doing it. From that moment, I should have realised what I did eventually in the future. I should have learnt from that moment. I was taken to the doctors and diagnosed with petit mal epilepsy. And so, here's how it begins. At school, kids would take the piss. Why are you staring? Stop looking at me, you weirdo. And it only got worse as I got into high school, in where I'm from, secondary school. I was bullied for it. Oh, look at that Jim, he just stares into space, and he's just a complete weirdo, right? Any of those bullies watching now, fuck you. Excuse me for my language, I promise myself I won't swear in this video, but it's a touchy subject. I remember when I was around a teenager, well, maybe a little bit younger, maybe about 12 years old, 11 years old, I was put on a medicine called Tegretol. And I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. It was this white, nasty liquid that was thick like cream, and it tasted like shit. I was on that for years and years. I remember I took one spoonful, and you know when you get medicine bottles and the other end, you get like a spoon with it. Well, usually you get syringes now, but you got a spoon that was one end big and the other end small. I had to take a big spoonful in the morning and a big and little at night. Until eventually I was taken to hospital after so many years. I was about 14 years old and I was taken to the hospital, and the doctor says, guess what, you're all clear. You haven't got to come back anymore. Maybe they hadn't noticed any seizures for a while, but I really don't know because I was too young to remember. I was probably younger than 14 to be fair, but I don't know, guys. I remember being so over the moon, and I was jumping about for joy knowing that I hadn't have to go back to the hospital again. No more blood tests, no more going out of school for it, although getting out of school was actually the good thing about it, so. A few months have passed, no medicine, no hospital. Then I started noticing my seizures. I'd snap back into reality and think, what did I just miss? But it happens in almost an instant, you don't even realise it sometimes. And then my mum told me that I'd have to go back to hospital again, and that, it was like the most horrible thing you could hear from someone, knowing that You think you're cured from it, but no, you're not. You've got to go back there again. The things come back to haunt you. I know that my condition is nowhere near as bad as some people can get. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm not asking people to sympathise with me. I simply want to tell my story. Because I think no matter what condition you have, whether it be big or small, everyone has a right to speak out about it and just see what people think. Is there anyone out there with the same sort of problems which I can relate to? So this time, I was on a different sort of medication. Oxycarbazepine, if you can read that. Oxycarbazepine. So that's basically what I'm on now. I was put on that when I went back to the hospital after thinking I was cured, and I stayed on that until I was in my 20s. Here's the moment in the video which people have been wondering since my intro. What the hell did I do wrong? Well, here's what I did wrong. I went on a ridiculous phase of not taking my medication. I remember and then not remember I was going through some life changes, and I had a crazy ass job where I was doing stock taking, so I was all over the place, crazy sleep patterns, I was never local, and I know that's no excuse, I know, but it did make it difficult to stay in a routine of tablets, being used to sleep at different times during the day. Sometimes I'd have a night shift, sometimes I'd have a morning shift the next day. It's difficult to explain, but that was beside the point. I should have made some kind of way to keep taking my medication, but I didn't. Eventually I went to the doctors to explain this to him, because I eventually ran out of medication and I needed to have a review of my medication so I could get more from the pharmacy, because I'm on medical exemption. The doctor was very, very serious with me, and he told me that there are some cases in epilepsy where if people don't take their medication, it could result in it getting worse or even death. I thought to myself, maybe death's a bit extreme, maybe he's doing this to scare me. I'm not even sure if it's actually true with my sort of epilepsy, but if it is true, it scared me enough to get back in a routine again. I managed to keep it up for about 2 years. Then, of what I assumed was my last noticed seizure. It was October 2015. I remember because I was at a party in Liverpool with a couple of friends. We booked a hotel over the night, had a good time, stayed there like. Yeah, people are probably wondering, like, what are you doing drinking if you have epilepsy? Well, technically I'm not supposed to drink, but my condition is not that bad and it's not life-threatening as long as I take my medication. And as long as I don't get plastered or drink all the time. And I'm not going to let something like this sort of stop me from doing the things which I like to do. I like to go out and have a drink with friends every now and then. I don't go completely insane with it though. I don't drink every day. It's mainly just once a month. Maybe not even that sometimes. Despite how crazy I act in my videos, I'm actually pretty sensible. Look at me being responsible. Okay, I couldn't stay serious for a whole video, could I? Come on, that's just not me. And then I stopped having seizures. I stopped having them. I didn't notice a seizure for years and years and years, and I figured I'm finally off this. So from that moment in 2015, I stopped taking my tablets, and well, there was a mixture of me taking them some weeks and other weeks not taking them. And then it got to the point where there was a good stretch of maybe 9 months, maybe more, I'm not even sure, of me not taking them, which was more recently the past 9 months that had just gone. And here's the bit which it goes a bit crazy. Well, I was at work doing my ordinary job, doing what I usually do, doing my work. Manager comes over to me. Can I ask you a question, Jim Bob? I go, yeah, what's up? He goes, why were you standing completely still, holding a bag of donuts, staring into space, and doing nothing for about a minute? I went, what? He says, yeah, you were literally standing there with a bag of donuts, looking deep into space. And then I thought, shit, I don't remember doing that. I think, seriously, is he the only person to notice this? in all these years. Like, why didn't anyone else notice my seizures? I don't know, maybe I wasn't having them. But I don't remember doing this. When I daydream, I do remember doing this. But this, I didn't. And that was the moment of realisation, like, I had a seizure. And then it made me realise, like, what kind of damage have I done for not taking them for a solid 9 months? There's nothing that anyone can say that I haven't already told myself. You should have took your tablets. You knew how important this was. Just don't. From people at the moment. I know. Trust me, I know. I have an appointment booked with the doctors. Now, it shouldn't be anything serious because I feel generally fine. But since I've started taking my medication again, I've been doing very well. Certain things which I would do before, like drifting off into space, or my attention span, which is usually crap, it's actually gotten a lot better. Random headaches I get every now and then, I've also stopped. So that's telling me something. The medication must be doing something if that's just randomly stopped. So here's my advice for you guys. If you have epilepsy or any kind of other condition, if you feel that your seizures, your fits, or whatever happens when you, during this problem that you've got, happens, don't stop taking your medication unless you have it clear from the doctor. The doctor's there because he knows what he's doing, because she knows what she's doing. Don't do a me and just not take them because you think in your own mind that your seizures have stopped. Because you never know if they have or not until somebody points it out, and you never know if it's too late or not. If anyone wants an update on this afterwards, just let me know. My appointment's literally in a few days. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed listening to my story. This is a very long video, so I'm going to close it off right now. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day as always. If you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I upload at least once a week. Remember, you are awesome. Take care.
She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart.